right, let's see.
Are you ready?
I wonder if you know what a 240SX with a limited slip and the Enkei Wheels. Oh, urethane bushings.
Can we go for real?
Factory catback with a. Oh, can we go for real now, you're saying? All right. Guys, bringing you just another awesome car out of Extreme Customs. This is gonna be a 95 240SXE. Now what that stands for is badass Japanese car with a limited slip differential. I'm pretty sure that's probably not exactly what it stands for. Now, this car's badass. The owner over at Auto Trim gave us the privilege to work on it, and to show you guys a little bit of all what's been done to it. So to give you the quick backstory on what all's been done to this car and kind of how it all came to fruition, back in the early 2000s, he acquired this car, and one day sitting outside his shop, he came to find out that somebody threw battery acid on it in the middle of the night, and that spearheaded an entire project that 0 to 60 Garage in Sherwood kind of helped him out with. So what 0 to 60 Garage in Sherwood did a full wide body on the car, not your typical fiberglass body kit, which doesn't really have much structural rigidity. They actually did a sheet metal wide body conversion to this thing. I mean, it speaks volumes with the workmanship that they put out with the job, because you can't really even tell looking at this car that work has been performed, but it has in fact been widened 3 inches. And it's sitting on a set of 19-inch Enkei GTC01 wheels, 19 in the back and 18 in the front, also wrapped in a set of Bridgestone Potenzas. Now, one thing to take quick notice of while I'm showing you guys this wheel is the dual valve stems. A lot of people ask what the reasoning behind that is. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons out there that people claim, but the best thing I can figure out is that it's actually for purging the air out when you fill these wheels with nitrogen. The other thing to take note of with these Enkei wheels is a lot of you might not know what Enkei stands for. Enkei? Enkei. A lot of people ask what Enkei stands for, and it's Pig Latin for A lot of people ask what Enkei stands for, and from what I've found, it stands for lightweight alloy. And that's kind of a little bit of information that I didn't know beforehand going into this, but with a little bit of research, found out, that's in fact what Enkei stands for. So sitting on Enkei GTC01, 19-inch in the back and 18-inch in the front. And then the fenders were rolled in the front about 1 inch to allow for the wheel to fit with the inch spacer it has in the front, an 1.5 inches in the rear. Now this car, after it had the battery acid thrown on it, kind of spearheaded this whole project, and that's when he decided to paint it a candy flash red with a charcoal two-tone. You'll notice the charcoal on the hood and also the charcoal here on the J-Spec wing that was also a Japanese factory option back in the 90s. This car is beautiful. I mean, the paint work is impeccable. The body work is impeccable. It's really one of those cars that when it comes through, we want to show you guys exactly, what all has gone into making something, this beautiful. The interior was done by Ericsson's Auto Trim. They did a beautiful job when they did the reupholstery work with it. Also, a little shout out to Muntz Audio, who did the speakers and the head unit. When the car was brought to us, it had, some aged suspension components in it, and we actually tore out the entire subframe and replaced every bushing with polyurethane bushings just to really tighten up the suspension feel and the responsiveness of the steering, just to bring it back to that 90s era when, the car was brand new. The owner loved it after we did that. One little bit of information too though, when you do it with polyurethane bushings, is that it does really stiffen up your suspension, so you really feel a lot more of the road noise and vibration, through your steering wheel. But yeah, I mean, taking you to the inside, this thing is just beautiful. It's got the factory 5-speed. It's got the KA24 series motor in it. Now the owner did say he wasn't planning on doing the SR20 swap that is really commonly found in the JDM community. He in fact plans to boost the engine here in the next year or two, really kind of get the power potential out of this thing. Now it isn't exactly a drift car like you'll see a lot of 240s in the community right now. This is purely a show car, but just a really beautiful example of a 1990s Japanese sports car. I really love these cars. I'm a Nissan guy on my own. I own a 370, so it's like when you see a beautiful JDM car like this come through the shop, it's one of those things you gotta see it, we gotta give you a peek. It's sitting on a set of Tyne coilovers. It's been lowered about an inch, 1.5 inches. Not 100% sure if that's the exact measurement, however, just by looking at it, I mean, it sits perfect. It's definitely not slammed by any means, so that really allows for it still to be drivable. He really wanted to retain the factory ride quality with it. Going around to show you guys a little bit as far as performance-wise, it's got the factory headers, a Pexi exhaust catback. So another reason why this car looks so beautiful just sitting here is because it actually has a ceramic paint protection coating on it as well. Now this coating is offered up at our buddies at Dynamic Detail up in Neenah, Wisconsin. And this paint protection isn't like your run-of-the-mill, just wax and buff it once a year. That paint protection will actually last for about 2 years. And I mean, it really protects your paint. It's basically one of those deals where once you get it ceramic coated, all you gotta do is wash it and dry it. There's really no other steps to keeping the paint pretty aside from that. I mean, it's a little expensive, but it's definitely worth it when you're trying to preserve a car from this era. Now it's just, again, just a beautiful car. You know, I'd love to give you guys some ride-alongs in it, but you know, as nice as this car is, we don't want to really run it at all too hard. So we appreciate you guys checking out this build, and be sure to stay tuned for any future builds coming out of EC. Peace.